In this video, I'll show you how to create your HDFS connection inside Talend. And for this exercise, I'll be doing on Talend Open Studio for Big Data Platform. The version is 7.3 and the Hortonworks Sandbox version is 3.0. And I also have Hortonworks Sandbox 265. So I have faced this issue also. The connection works fine, absolutely fine. But when you start doing like HDFS put or get operations, or even HDFS input output operation, it wouldn't go through. It would say data node issue, which I'm going to show you and also show you how to fix that particular issue. Alright, so let's get started. I got this to Sandbox on Oracle VirtualBox Manager. And before we proceed anything, the first thing is to go to this setting. And if you go to network tab, you should be selecting enable the network adapter and attach to NAT. NAT is basically will establish all the connectivity from your sandbox to your local computer. And sometimes what happens is some of the port related to data node will not be available to access outside the sandbox, right? When you are using Talend on your local, the connection will be established, but when you start doing push and pull operation, that's when it will start erroring out. So for that, you will have to set this up. Basically, there will be something called as a data node, and it varies from Hadoop version to version. So on 3.0, the data node is 50075, and 265 I was able to see that 50010. So all right, so these are two things which we have to keep in mind. First one is the NAT and then the port formatting, right? We will be creating the connection and I'll show you how to resolve this particular issue. All right, I'll go ahead and start this sandbox. So while this is getting started, I will log on to my Talend Studio, and under that metadata, right, you have a section called Hadoop cluster. Let's go ahead and create one connection here. So I'm gonna name this as HDP 3.0 and click next. And here what we have to do is you can directly choose the distribution here, which is Hortonworks, and then the data platform, whatever we are doing. So this is one. Otherwise, you have an option to retrieve the configuration directly from Ambari or Cloudera, right? So for very first thing you will have to do is just choose this distribution and the version, the respective version, and click on retrieve configuration from Ambari. So this will automatically get all the configurations from Ambari. Otherwise, you have another option. You can spin up the cluster on Ambari. You can download all the configuration files onto your local and then import it manually. Or the third option is to enter all the resource manager and other, the names and port details manually, right? The quickest thing and the right thing to do here is using the first option. Go ahead and click next. And on the HTTP cluster, I have already have a user called admin, right? All we have to do is just type in your Ambari URL, admin, and user password, right? So once this is done, you can just click on connect, right? Once this is connected, this is going to show you discovered clusters, right? So this is connected to the local host at Ambari and then retrieved this particular sandbox, right? Once you connect to this, all you have to do is click on fetch, right? This will automatically get all the configurations, right, from the Ambari. So for now we need HBase and our HDFS and all, right? So but for now I'll just go ahead and select everything and click finish. So now all the configurations are imported inside our Talend Studio. So as you see, the name node URI and all, it's using the names. right? Whereas this is not configured in our initially. I mean, when you start this up for the very first time, you will not have this name defined. So for that, what you'll have to do is you can go to your start menu and then click on File Explorer. Right, in the File Explorer, you can go to your C drive, Windows folder. Under that, you will find a folder called System32, and under that, you will have drivers and then etc. So there'll be a file called host file. So this is where we actually establish the trust, right? This is where we capture the IP address, right? The local IP address, and also we'll provide the name resolution here, right? So for now, I have already added. All you have to do is just type in your local IP, which is 127.0.0.1, and just copy paste from your sandbox. So once this is done, go ahead and save it and then close it, right? And then go back to your connection, HDFS connection, and by default it's going to go to this staging directory. And if you see, these are the name node URI. So the name node is configured automatically at 8020, and then the resource manager is in 8050, right? These are all the connection details required for your successful HDFS connection. So yeah, that's all you have. The next thing to do is, so when you scroll down, you see authentication. Just provide the username which has the cluster access. So in my case, I have created a user called hdfs Anambari. So just type in that, and then you can click on check services. Okay, so then our connection is successful. So this part is easy. You will not see any issues. It sounds like everything is working fine. Go ahead and click on finish. Okay, so now our connection is ready, and we can start pulling this into our talent job. So for this, I already have a sample job. So I was using the other cluster here, so I'll go ahead and choose the new one which we just created. Okay, so I have chose my new connection, and by default it will pick up all the username and everything details here in the component. What I want to do now is let's look at the cluster now. Okay, so the sandbox is already running. Let's go to Ambari. So I have this admin user account already set up. So when you get into this, you will have an option to check the existing file. The first thing first, the HDFS is started and working fine. And for us to pull and push data, I will go ahead and choose this files view to see what files we have, and we'll pull that file. If not, we can put some file onto HDFS. Okay, so under this, okay, I'll get into the user folder, and there is a HDFS. So under HDFS, I'm going to create one folder here so that it is easier. There is permission issue. Okay, so for that, okay, so in order to create anything on the cluster, we should be logging in as the cluster admin, right? The cluster admin here is HDFS. So this is also one good thing to know. The admin cannot do something on the cluster, the folder creation especially. So now I have logged in using HDFS, right? Which is that particular user is a cluster admin. I logged in with that user. I'll go to user and there's the hdfs, and here I'm going to create one new folder called Talend. Okay, so the folder is created. So under this I'm going to create one file here. I'll just upload one. Okay, I'm going to choose this file. Okay, so there's one file already. So let's try to read this file and then print it if we are able to successfully retrieve. Okay, I'm back on my Talend. I'm gonna pause this now, deactivate. So all I'm trying to do is from this input folder, see with this when I browse this, it looks like everything is working fine from the HDFS. So we created this folder, right? Under HDFS we created a folder and then we created this particular file. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm just picking up all the files from this folder and then printing it on the console. Okay, all right. So the next thing, I am just printing this file name here. Whatever the list is reading, I am just printing that file. Okay, let's see if this part works. Okay, so this is working fine. It is able to connect to HDFS and also pull the file name from the HDFS. All right, so next what I'm trying to do is by enabling this get here, and what I'm doing is from this HDFS directory, right, I want to read that file and then copy to my local. So this is where actual data pull will be happening, right? So let's see if this works fine. We just have to select the folder. Okay, so now what I'm saying, from this folder, whatever file we have, let's drop it to this particular folder. Let's quickly see if we have that file here. Okay, this is empty. This is fine. I'm gonna just save it. All I'm passing is the name of the file that is getting passed here. Okay, let me go ahead and run it. Okay, so this is the error that I was talking about. Here, even though your connection is getting successful, but when you even you are able to read the file names from the HDFS folder, but when you try to do operations like HDFS input or output, get or put such operation, you will start getting connection refused, no further information, right? So this is one of the issue with I would say the combination of Talend 7.3 with HTTP 3.0, right? So for this I was trying out to see how do we resolve this. So whenever we receive something like connection refused, it's something related to port, which is kind of getting blocked, right? We have a sandbox which is in the virtual machine, but we are trying to read that data file outside that handbox, right? So for that, I have got few steps here. I'm gonna show you. All we have to do is, in order to solve this issue, open up PuTTY and type in the local host as your host, and the port you should be entering is 2122, which is the actual sandbox virtual environment. And initially you will get this. Click on yes. Go ahead and use your connection. And initially the default password is Hadoop, HADOOP. And when you log in, all we have to do is cd sandbox. Then there is a deploy scripts, right? So under that, you'll have to do is so this contains all the proxy deploy scripts wherein we'll be specifying the port forwarding. So basically from we are enabling certain ports from sandbox to the outside local. So let's go ahead and click on this, and when you enter you just have to scroll down, and here you will start seeing all the ports that are being already forwarded, right? So in certain cases you will not find some of the ports here. So right now we're just dealing with the data node, right? Even if you encounter any issues with any other port, all you have to do is get into this file and then add your port that you want it to be forwarded back to your local machine. So for that, go ahead and hit I, which will let you insert the port information. All you have to do is within this square bracket, you will have to type in the port and then the port again. Let's go ahead and then type in 50075 50075, and we have one more entry. This is basically from the HTTP 2.6.5. I'm going to add this also in order to avoid this issue. Alright, once this is done, hit save on your VI. Once this is done, all you have to do is, let's go ahead and run this shell script now. Okay, yeah, so basically this uses a sandbox flavor. So let's go ahead and create a soft link here. So for that you will have to type in ln space -s, and then we'll specify the sandbox flavor. Okay, the link is now created. Now we should be able to execute this shell script. Okay, so this is now done. There should be a file called proxy deploy created. So for that, let's go to sandbox. It should be under proxy, I guess. Yes. And also you see this shell script is not having execute permission. So let's go ahead and give that permission here. I would like to give owner the execution permission. The owner execution permission on this particular file. Okay, so this is done. Let's go ahead and run this shell script. So this will actually enable all the port forwarding. This will take just few seconds. Once this is done, we should be able to check that port forwarding. I think there is some error here. So basically it's saying the port 50075 is already part of it. Okay, so for that let's go ahead and remove that. We'll just keep the last one. So here, okay, I'm gonna just take this one out. Okay, now let's go ahead and run that shell script again. Okay, the file is now regenerated again. Okay, so this time it looks like it's now successfully completed. So all you have to do is first you generate this proxy deploy script. Once this is done, it will create one shell script. For that, you execute, you give the execute permission and then execute this proxy deploy. So once this is done, go ahead and restart all your services on Bari. I'm gonna pause this video for a second. Restart all. Confirm. Services are now back online. I'm gonna go back to Talend Studio, and then now go ahead and run it. Okay, again it is failed. Let's see what is this error. So now it says that safe mode exception. Okay, the name node, the HDFS name node is in safe. Okay, say yeah, name node is in safe mode. Okay, so for that, let's go back to the Ambari, and there should be some error here. Okay, it is just taking more time here. I'll just allow some more time. You see there's a critical notification and the name node uptime is 50 seconds. So maybe you'll have to give like a minute or two so that it comes back online. I'm just gonna give one more minute here. This issue is still happening, so the next step would be to turn off the sandbox and then we'll add the port forwarding here also. So go to settings and under that network you should be able to find the advanced settings, port forwarding, and under that go ahead and add a data rule for data node. Here you will have to mention 001 and we would mention 50010 50010. Okay, so now this is done. Let's go ahead and start this. The sandbox is up. Let's log into Ambari now. Okay, we would actually need to go to admin. Once you log into Ambari, we'll have to start the hdfs. Confirm. So this will actually start all the services on Ambari. I'll pause for a second here. Now everything looks good. Now this is hdfs is fine. Okay, let me go back to Talend Studio and then rerun. Okay, so this time it's successful. So let's look at this. So from this hdfs folder, we'll be copying it to our local. So let's go ahead and check the output folder here. Okay, so Talend output and hdfs. So this is the file that we just sourced it from hdfs to our local. Now let's do something. Let's post this file to hdfs. We'll go to the files view. So under users, we'll go under users hdfs. 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 Under that we have a folder called Talend. Alright, so now we already have this file. Let's do one thing. I'm going to just delete this file from here. Okay, so there's no files under this folder. I'll go back to Talend and instead of get, we'll directly put the hdfs put. Okay, so we will connect it using on component. So this time actually I'll deactivate this entire subjob. I'm gonna call this hdfs put soon after the hdfs connection. So we'll choose the existing connection that we just established. So from a local file, hdfs. So whatever file that are existing in local directory, we will directly put it on hdfs, which I want to do it in user hdfs talend. And here there's an option you can specify any filter or a file mask. So I'll just go ahead and give only this particular file name. I'll copy this. .csv, and I want the same name, or maybe you can put a different file name for the same file. When it goes to hdfs, the file name will be renamed to this and placed it on the hdfs. Okay, once this is done, go ahead and save the job and run it. Okay, so let's go back to hdfs. Alright, there you go. So this is how you do the hdfs get and put operation. Similarly, you can even do hdfs input and output. So initially we had several issues within hdfs. Even though connection was successful, we are not able to read the data block. So for that, what we did as a first step, we went back to the hdfs sandbox host, right, using localhost and the 2122 port, and then we generated the proxy deploy script. We executed that, which in turn created proxy deploy shell script, right? This is where we specified the port to be forwarded for all the data node operations like get, put, those such of operation need 50010 port to be forwarded from sandbox to the external local machine where you are calling from your Talend, right? So this is one step this we did, and next thing is we went back to the Oracle VirtualBox. We went to settings, right? Under network, we added port forwarding for data node role, right, which is right here. So we added this. So two things we will have to make sure, at least for the Talend 7.3 version, along with HTTP 3.0. So that's all. I hope you like it, and it will be really helpful if you encounter the same issue. Alright, that's all I got this one video. Thank you for watching and happy learning.